Hello everyone, my name is David, and today I would like to talk about open software using the field of computational biology as an example. This presentation will begin with a bit of an evolution of how open software became a standard in computational biology, then goes to a quick guide on how to start using open software, a specific example of how open software is used in research, and moving on how to overcome barriers of using open software in research. So a bit about the field of computational biology. It is the intersection between scientists or researchers who collect data in the lab or in the field and people who develop tools and algorithms and databases for other scientists to use, but also scientists who just use data that is already available to solve different challenges. It is also known as bioinformatics. This field finds different applications in almost all life sciences and biological fields, in health, in agriculture, different industrial research, but also environmental management. Usually, the field involves analysis of large data sets, which are known as big data as well. The range of hundreds of GBs analyzed in powerful computers or servers is the norm. The data is usually DNA or RNA sequence or protein sequence, even metabolomics, and exist as large text files, and usually they are compressed. So how open software became a standard in the field of computational biology? Early on, when this field began, the biggest challenge was data generation. For example, the human genome took 20 years to complete from the 90s to 2003, and it was very expensive, cost several $1 million. But as the technology advanced, as we speak today, you can sequence an entire human genome in less than 24 hours. So this time when data generation was the biggest challenge, there were few software for analysis, and most of them were proprietary, and they were not very affordable to many labs in the world, but especially in developing countries or developing world. Also, it was very difficult to verify data or verify analysis during peer review unless the reviewer also had subscribed to proprietary software. But over time, with technology development, data generation became easier and floodgates of data opened. At the moment, there is too much data than we can analyze. Some of the data is even poor quality. But and then these expensive proprietary tools could not catch up. They were not very adaptable to new needs, and people could not customize them as they needed. So biologists and computational scientists decided to develop their own tools, and they made them open and free. They just deposited them on the internet with the source code. Other people could download the tools, could use the tools, but also could customize the tools to their use. Over time, and at the moment, it became a standard to use open and free software. I don't remember, I've never used a proprietary software in computational in bioinformatics data analysis, but I don't remember the last time I heard someone using proprietary software. So at the moment, all the tools that are used in bioinformatics and computational biology, they are free and open for anybody to use. Starting a bit of what open software is, other people have spoken about it. It is a software that is free and open to use. And in research and academia, there are many open software that exist and they're for different uses. So for example, there is Zotero, which is used for reference management when writing manuscripts. But R and Python are very common for data analysis in different fields. Git and GitHub allows to produce and share code with version control. Jupyter notebooks are especially useful for developing writing methodology and share with other people or research groups. But also QGIS is used in geographical information system mapping and spatial data analysis. These are just examples. There are many tools and software, open tools and software for research and academia. Why use open software? Well, it is free, but more importantly, most of the tools that are used in most of the open software tools They have well-documented resources, they have manuals, they have guides, they have tutorials with sample data set that somebody who is just starting out can use. But also they have supportive communities where you can ask questions and provide feedback. But also it makes collaborative work easier. For example, when you use Jupyter Notebooks or Git, somebody who is interested to know your code or to see the methodology that you use for particular resources, for particular research, it's easier to share with them. But also open software is more sustainable because it is easier to modify, to customize depending on use, and does not depend on resource availability. But also open software formats, data formats, or data analysis files that come from open software are easier to interchange between tools or to share with other people. How to start? So you may be wondering, what can I do or where can I start to use different open software? You can start by browsing or asking around or reading papers in your field to find what open software other people have used or are using or from online. And once you find maybe you want a tool for particular data analysis, you can start by looking at the documentation, the manuals or the guides which are available, and a supportive community where you can ask questions, an online supportive community. And then it is very important to spend some time to actually learn the tool, and it is easier when you use real world challenges or real world data to analyze or a challenge or a problem to practice learning a new tool. That way it is easier for the knowledge to stick and to find use or to use in the other data in the future. I want to give an example of open software. This is a paper we published a few years back. We were looking at soil microbiome data. It was DNA data. It is published in the Plant and Soil Journal. And in this paper, we use QIIME and R for data analysis. This is just a section of the methodology section where we write explicitly which tools were used and, more importantly, which parameters were used. So for somebody else who wants to replicate this study, it is important for them to know, of course, the tools that were used, but the specific parameters that were used in that particular tool. Because if you change the parameters, then you will find different findings or different results, and this makes the work more reproducible for somebody else who wants to use. And as a bonus, the data for this manuscript was deposited online at NCBI, and it is available. So somebody else can replicate the findings of the study, or they can use the same methodology in their research, because one, the software that was used is open software, but also two, the parameters were clearly outlined, but third, the data is openly available. For somebody who is wondering how to start or has started and faced some challenges, make use of the support communities that are associated with different open software. Most of open software, I have not come across an open software that did not have a support community or the contact details of the developers who made the software. They are usually very open and responsive. Practice, practice, practice. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. You can start with the tutorials which are associated with the software and the data which is associated with the software, but also remember to use real world data, either your data or data from your research group. Sometimes also people face challenges in terms of mistrust or skepticism. I faced the same challenge when I was publishing a preprint for the first time. It's not open software, but it's the same example. My supervisors were not very open or optimistic about it. They didn't know about what it was. So I kept going back to them with examples, and eventually they learned that major publishers also publish preprints. They give an option to publish a preprint, and they accepted half-heartedly. Once they understood how it worked, with the subsequent manuscript, they were the ones who were asking me to put them as a preprint first before publishing as manuscripts, because they understood the benefits of publishing as preprints. So it's the same technique or the same approach I would advise, to first show other examples, other papers and other groups in which people have used open software to analyze data or to write manuscripts or other uses, or to generate and share code. But also, you can analyze, if you, for example, you see it's an open software for data analysis, you can use a proprietary software and parallel with an open software and show that the findings from open software, the results from open software are similar or comparable or even better from a proprietary software. And sometimes you may be able to integrate some parts of your analysis, for example, with open software and other parts with proprietary software. That way you ease or start with a gentle introduction of open software. But also be persistent, keep going back and reminding and finding a different angle. Make sure other colleagues in your research group, especially early career researchers, know about open software. If there are 2-3 of you who are using this software and tools, it is easier to convince other people, especially PIs and the senior people in your research group. But also in general, just being an advocate for open software. I cannot stress enough about the importance of support communities. You can show also supervisors or PIs or other people who are skeptical that, look, these tools have large support communities around them of developers and people who use the tools, which means there is a higher likelihood of the tools to be sustainable long term. Like in a couple of years, the tool will still be in use and the data can still be reanalyzed using the same tools. And some tools, although can no longer be supported, but usually if the source code is open, people can usually find a way to improve and keep supporting the open software. But also, everybody can contribute to make this open software better. So not only do you only have to ask questions from support communities, but also you can provide feedback and also become a developer yourself to make sure open software continue to be used. I hope you enjoy learning and practicing using open software and sharing with others. Thank you.